Palworld is absolutely breaking the internet. Unfortunately, the dev team also realised this, as the game has now sold over 7 million copies in only 5 days since its release, and this game is still in early access. Now fortunately, they've released an early access roadmap for Palworld labelled The Future of Palworld over on X. We would like to share with you our roadmap for Palworld. Sales have far exceeded the development team's expectations, and we are currently experiencing many problems due to excessive access congestion among other challenges. We will prioritise improving the issue first and then move on to implementing new in-game features. Thank you for your understanding. Now, to have a game have its roadmap released isn't uncommon, but for a game like Palworld, which has absolutely taken off and pretty much steamrolled through the internet this week, this is pretty groundbreaking because it obviously means that they're looking at scaling up the development and probably onboarding a few more people into their dev team to get this game up to the standard that I would imagine 7 million players want it to be. I know a few people have had issues in terms of accessing servers, getting kicked from games, black screens, all that stuff that you really don't want when you're just trying to have fun. Now, I was just about to sit down and obviously log in and start a mammoth session on Palworld, but I thought we'd get this out and cover some of the features on the roadmap. So like they say, they're going to be addressing critical issues first, and obviously there's currently a number of bugs that have been identified and they're going to be prioritising fixing them. Like I say, there's a ton of issues, black screens and all that stuff, so hopefully if they crack down on getting that stuff sorted first, then we can definitely look forward to getting some of the new planned features for the future of Palworld. One of the main improvements that they're looking to implement first is going to be configuration improvements and also improve the base Pal AI and pathing. Now, I know a few people have said that the AI is a little bit weak in this, and I can see where they get that from, but also it's just early days, and like I said, there's a few bugs and stuff that they're looking to sort out. So if they do fix this and it makes enemies a little bit more intelligent, it makes the battles a little bit more interesting, then that's only going to be a good thing for the game. Now, in terms of planned future releases, then they've got a massive list, to be fair, and some of this might be reaching, but if they come off with it and it pays off, then Palworld's going to be absolutely massive. And I mean, it already is, but if they're going to release some of this stuff, then it's really going to give the game some longevity for the future. They're looking at adding PvP. Now, obviously we've got multiplayer with servers, but if they had PvP in terms of battling other servers and whatnot, then that could be quite interesting in terms of the game. But one of the main things that's piqued my interest is the addition of raid bosses. Now, obviously we've got dungeons and we've got world bosses in the game, and obviously the Syndicate Tower battles. Now, they are pretty difficult, but once people manage to level up and start farming for materials and more advanced gear, then some of them bosses, some of them dungeons are really not going to hit the mark. So having a raid and potentially puzzles within a raid, and obviously a number of bosses where you're going to need potentially 2, 3, 4, maybe even more players to tackle, much like you do in other games like Destiny, then I'm all for it, to be honest. They're also looking at adding a Pal arena for PvP for pals, so much like Pokemon, which this game obviously gets a lot of linkage to, you're going to be able to battle your pals by the looks of it, obviously now with guns, so what's not to love. They're looking at adding crossplay between Steam and Xbox, which is also great, and obviously I'm sure they're probably looking at getting PlayStation on board at some point in the near future as well. They're looking at various Xbox feature improvements, server transfers and migrations, improvements to the building system, which with improvements to the building system, it's probably going to make it a little bit more easier to specifically build and make stuff snap to other items a lot easier. Now, at the bottom here, obviously it says new islands, pals, bosses and technologies. Now, if this game is going to go any further than what it is, then obviously it's going to need new technologies, new pals. We've only got over 100 at the minute, so there's plenty of scope to add new types, potential for evolutions and stuff like that. It's got a lot of scope, and obviously it's something that they're thinking about. In terms of bosses, there's plenty of places to add new bosses. Obviously if you're adding new pals, then there's going to be potential for new boss variants of them, and new islands to explore. I mean, it only makes sense. I mean, this game is massive anyway, but once you have explored it, then you're going to be itching to explore even more. So adding new islands along with new pals, bosses and technologies to make your gear even better is only going to be a good thing going forward. And you just love to see it, don't you? A little bit of a roadmap, a little bit of communication from the dev team. Obviously this game is going nuts. If you haven't played it yet, then get it downloaded. It's free on Xbox. You have to pay for it on Steam, unfortunately, but it is what it is. It's pretty incredible, and I've been having a ton of fun with it. Let me know what your thoughts are about this roadmap down below, but I'm going to jump back into Palworld and get on with it. Thank you very much.